What's going on, everybody, and welcome to GNR Central, and we got your news for this week. Now, let's talk a bit about the news that broke on Friday. So I was home on Friday, was kind of just hanging out, and I saw that Matt Sorum did an interview with Loudwire, and it's about a 25-minute long interview, and he talks about the Guns N' Roses reunion, something he hasn't really talked about in a lot of his interviews he's given lately. But he revealed how he found out about the Guns N' Roses reunion, and it was kind of surprising, at least to me, and maybe you guys will be surprised as well. So he revealed that he probably found out about the reunion when everybody else did. He laughed about it. He said, "I was in the band Hollywood Vampires there for a minute." And it's important to note that Duff was in the band Hollywood Vampires, but he wasn't in the incarnation that Matt Sorum was with most recently. So yes, he played with Matt Sorum in the Hollywood Vampires, but they've had a number of different band changes in their short time that they've been around. So he said, "I was in the band Hollywood Vampires there for a minute." So it was kind of around that time, and that's basically what happened. And then it just went that way. It just went the way it went, and life goes on. I look at my time in the band as well spent, and it can never really be reimagined or replaced, that experience in my life. And I give a lot of credit to my career going forward because of that experience. Now, because I guess when you go down the list of the bands I've played with, there have been many. Some people may prefer the Cult over GNR. He said, if I run into a fan on the street, they might love me for the Cult. Or there's a lot of people that maybe weren't much into GNR, but they loved Velvet Revolver because it was maybe more of a modern rock band that came in 2004. That's when we were formed. So it's not that long ago. But it really shows you, like, if that's the case, that he didn't find out until probably late 2015 or early 2016 about the reunion, that they really tried to keep it as hush-hush as possible. If you guys remember, I think when Steven Adler gave his first interview about the reunion, he revealed that he met with Slash and Duff and they made him sign a non-disclosure agreement saying you can't talk about the reunion. So they were definitely trying to make sure that nothing leaked. But I thought that was kind of weird. It must be, I wonder if that's put a strain on, like, Matt Sorum and Slash and Duff's relationship. Because, I mean, they played together in two different bands for such a long time. And even Slash told his bandmates and the Conspirators about the reunion before he told Matt Sorum, which I found kind of funny. But, you know, maybe it was a different situation because Slash was playing with the Conspirators at that time. Now, in the same interview, he talked a lot about his new supergroup Deadland Ritual and the fact that they may record an album. They don't know yet, but they've written 3 songs so far. And he also talked about his upcoming autobiography, which I am so looking forward to. So he revealed in the interview that the autobiography is finished. He's completed the book, and it's right now going through the editing process. And he said it took him about 1.5 years to finish, and he's just making sure right now that everything is historically correct. He said we're probably looking at a 2020 release date for that book. So you guys may have missed this news, but Guns N' Roses won another touring awards. They were presented by Ticketmaster for the Touring Milestone Award. So the press release that got put out, according to Blabbermouth, says that Guns N' Roses Not in This Lifetime is among 17 concert tours that ended 2018 that have been recognized with Ticketmaster's inaugural Touring Milestone Award. So the award was developed to recognize the amazing artists behind the top global tours as measured by the total number of tickets sold and fans reached. To qualify, a tour must have wrapped up during the year with a global sales in excess of 500,000 tickets. Last year, Ticketmaster Music, the company's artist services division, supported more than 700 tours, and Ticketmaster sold almost 500 million tickets globally. They said in a statement, "When you look at our tours that wrapped up this year, it's incredible to see the caliber of artists that were on the road, and these artists are unmatched in their ability to transport an audience to another place through their music, performance, and production. This Touring Milestone Award is intended to recognize their commitment to their fans, to their art, and to their live experience." So the Not in This Lifetime tour began in April of 2016, did 159 shows in 41 countries, and it played its last date at Aloha Stadium in Honolulu, Hawaii on December 8, 2018. It's also believed to be the second highest grossing tour of all time, having generated more than $500 million since it started. And according to Pollstar, the Not in This Lifetime tour topped $82 million in sales in 2018 alone, having grossed an average of $3.7 million per show over the course of the 24-date run. Now, this was a cool piece of news that you guys probably hadn't seen. So Duff McKagan got his own bass guitar table. Could you imagine getting your own coffee table that has, like, Duff McKagan's bass in it? So they have this bass guitar table that's going to be given away through a raffle for charity. So I've included the video down below. There's about it's 2 minutes long. You see Duff checking out the cool coffee table. And let me know what your thoughts are on it. So Slash gave an interview pretty recently to Kerrang! Magazine, and he talked about the moment that made Guns N' Roses feel like a family. So he discussed the 1985 Hell Tour, which was basically the second show that they played after they played their first show at the Troubadour. So he said, when we first got together, Duff, being from the punk scene in Seattle, knew all these venues along the Pacific Northwest. So he set up a tour that we could play there, or I think I'll go all the way up there playing all these dates. But when we headed up there, we were in a friend's automobile, and we had an effing U-Haul trailer. All 5 of us plus roadies were stuffed into the back of that car. It was like something out of a cartoon, and we made it as far as Bakersfield in California when we broke down. We left the car, grabbed our guitars, and hitchhiked to Seattle. We played one show on this band, and basically the Fastbacks gear, and basically got into a fight with the club owner because he didn't want to pay us. Then we got a ride from some chick all the way back to Los Angeles, and that's what really cemented us together. Slash also gave another interview recently where he talked about Led Zeppelin and how Myles Kennedy almost joined the band, or at least was joining a band that featured the members of Led Zeppelin. So he told a story back in 2014 with Howard Stern, but he gave another interview where he talked about the following. He said, to try and make a long story short, I did a solo record that had a bunch of different featured lead singers on it back in 2010. When I was making that record, I almost finished making that record and I had a couple of songs left over, and I hadn't figured out who should sing on those 2 songs. I've been hearing a lot of Myles Kennedy over the last couple of years, at least heard his name, but I never actually heard him sing. And at one point, we were actually auditioning for Velvet Revolver back in 2004 before Scott Weiland came in. So when I was making this record, I thought, I wonder if Myles Kennedy is interested. And I wanted to see what he would think, because he had basically worked with Led Zeppelin for a tour that they were going to do at the time. So I thought he must be good, right? So he basically said, I called him up and told him I was doing this thing. Would you be interested in doing it? And I sent him the material to which he put a demo vocal on, sent it back to me a few days later, and I was just blown away. So I flew him to Los Angeles and we met for the first time, and we got along really well. We recorded a song called Starlight, and then I asked him to do another one, and it turned out to be a song called Back from Cali. So after that was over with, I was trying to figure out who should support the record, because I couldn't take all these different singers from the album out on the road, so I asked Myles Kennedy. I knew Myles had the range to be able to cover all of the material that I was going to be doing, which was from the solo record and stuff from Guns N' Roses and Velvet Revolver and Snake Pit. Turning now to some Slash news. Now, this kind of came out of left field. So Lamb of God's guitarist Mark Morton has a solo record that he put out, and he gave an interview recently, and he revealed that he wanted to have a song featuring Slash on his recent solo record. So he released his solo debut record, Anesthetic, and apparently he was so enthusiastic about featuring Slash on the solo record, but Slash was busy with Guns N' Roses. So he did reveal the following. He said, I'm friendly with Slash and we've talked a few times. He's a Lamb of God fan from what I understand, and I corresponded with him enough where I felt comfortable asking him if I could send him a song. I think it was while he was touring with Guns N' Roses when I reached out to him. He replied, yeah, I'd consider it. I'm busy, but if I can find the time, send me the track and let me have a listen and I'll go from there. What a positive and awesome response. However, in the meantime, he said, I cut a solo for the song that I was going to send him because I hadn't heard back and didn't know what was going down. And it just so happened to be a solo that I really loved, so I never sent him the song, and that's how it worked out. He went on to say, not that I'm better than Slash, but Slash is one of my favorite guitar players, and I love Slash and GNR. I got a Magic take and I didn't want to let go of it, and I just never sent the email to him. Now, this news story kind of flew under the radar, and if you guys have the Appetite for Destruction Locked and Loaded box set, this probably isn't much anything you haven't really seen before since you already own it. But Guns N' Roses are going to be releasing their own turntable this April. So according to whathifi.com, Guns N' Roses are planning to release their new turntable. So according to the press release that got put out, further expanding its Artist Series turntables, which includes the Beatles and the Rolling Stones theme models, the company's called Pro, so PRO, and then dash Ject, has announced a special edition deck in collaboration with rock legends Guns N' Roses. They said essentially the Guns N' Roses record player is a project's essential. It's a turntable with an aesthetic that honors the band, and for the first time on one of its turntables, Project has directly printed artwork onto an acrylic e-platter. As you can see, the Guns N' Roses logo fills the entire 12-inch platter surface, while the gloss black finished MDF plinth features a small logo underneath the tone arm's rest position. So it's going to be coming out this April, and it's going to be retailing for about $567 US roughly, or about 429 British pounds. Now, if you guys bought the Locked and Loaded box set and you were looking for a turntable, you got it included as part of it, and that's a pretty good deal if you look at the overall price. Turning now to some Gilby Clarke news and Sebastian Bach news. So if you guys are fans of Matt Sorum's supergroup, he has this other band, Kings of Chaos, which he typically plays in, but he's not going to be playing in it this June. So the supergroup Kings of Chaos has announced a June show that's going to feature Kenny Aronoff On drums, Gilby Clark. It's going to have Dee Snider, Sebastian Bach, James Lomenzo, as well as Warren DeMartini. And they're going to be playing a show at the Travis County Expo Center in Austin, Texas on June 15th. They announced on Instagram pretty recently. And turning now to some conspirators news, this is some pretty sad news, but it looks like the fans have really come out and answered Frank Sidoris. So Frank Sidoris is Slash's rhythm guitar player in the Conspirators, and he revealed that he needs some help from fans. So on March 12th, he posted a post on Twitter saying, "The past few weeks have been tough to say the least, as we've been blindsided by my girlfriend Alexandria Finley's recent diagnosis of cervical cancer. Please take a moment to read her story and donate whatever you can." So at the time of recording this video, they wanted to raise about $65,000 for her treatment. They've got $60,000 so far. So the campaign is actually trending on GoFundMe. If you guys are interested in giving anything or even checking out the campaign, the link is down below. So that concludes the news for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for the latest Guns N' Roses news. And go check us out at GNR Central for the latest GNR news. Take care.